Hello friends, welcome to the next data structure, one of the linear data structure. We already spoke about queue. We spoke about the applications of queue. Now today we'll start with, we spoke about stack and even the applications of stack, but today we'll talk about queue as an abstract data type. Right? In the previous lecture, we already saw what is an abstract data type. Now today we'll look at queue as an abstract data type. Now when we call it as abstract, because it is the programmer or the user who decides what operations and how the operations on that particular data structure can be carried out. Now, whenever we talk about an abstract data type, then each and every abstract data type has a set of characteristics and the set of operations which can be carried out on that particular data structure. So right now, Q we are looking at as a linear data structure. So what are the characteristics of Q? It's linear data structure, same like in stack. Stack was also a linear data structure. Again, the second characteristic of stack and queue is again same, both are homogeneous in nature. Now, the difference comes here in case of queue, in case of stack, we had only one pointer, that is top. All the push and pop operations were carried out using a single end, that is top. But in case of queue, you have two ends, right? So items are added at one end, we call it as rear, and removed from the other end, and we call that end as front. Fine. It follows FIFO approach. In case of stack, we had LIFO approach, that was last in, first out. In case of queue, you have FIFO approach, that is first in, first out. So it maintains a FIFO ordering property, like the element which is inserted first will be deleted first. Fine. And the element which is inserted last will be deleted last. The simple example of queue, you have a ticket counter, people standing in a line at the ticket counter is nothing but queue. So what it says, no insertions and deletions are allowed in between, right? Deletion can be carried out only at one end, that is front, right? And insertions can be carried out only at the end, that is rear. Okay? Nothing can be deleted from in between or nothing can be inserted in between, right? Deletion only from front, insertion only at rear. Now the operations which used to carry out insertion and deletion, we call DQ to delete an item from the queue, and we call it as NQ to insert an item into the queue. Fine. Now, what are the set of operations which can be carried out on queue data structure? The very first operation is just to create an empty queue, right? Second one is NQ. We already know NQ. What you pass a parameter, whatever item you want to insert into the queue, you pass that as a parameter to NQ function, right? It adds a new item to the rear of the queue. DQ removes the front item from the queue, it returns the item. So it is like a delete operation. The front item is deleted from the queue and it is returned back. Is empty to test whether your queue is empty. If it is empty, you get, it always returns a Boolean value of true and false. Fine. If the queue is empty, it will return true. If it is not empty, it will return false. Size will return the number of items in the queue. Peak, same as in the stack, it gets the element at the front of the queue without removing it. So wherever, whichever element front is pointing to, you will get a copy of it and the element will remain in the queue itself. The last is traverse. Traverse is visiting each and every element of the queue, right? Usually you use it to print the contents of the queue. So it will visit each and every element and it will print the contents. So let us look at the key operations in detail. NQ, that is nothing but insert. So Q maintains two data pointers. We already know front and rear. Now, what are the steps you use in NQ operation? The very first thing is, first step what you do is you check if the queue is full if you're working with static implementation, right? If you're working with static implementation, you will check if the queue is full, right? If the queue is full, then what you do, you produce an overflow error and exit, right? But if the queue is not full, then what you do, increment rear, because in the beginning, rear and front both are pointing to null. So you increment it rear and then so that it will point to the next empty space. Now you add the element to the queue location where the rear is pointing and you return success. NQ is done. So here is a simple pictorial representation of NQ. This is the queue, right? Front is pointing to the first element inserted. Rear is pointing to the last element inserted. Insertion is carried out at this end. Deletion is carried out at front end. Now, NQ is what? Insert. Now, suppose I want to insert element Q. So I call the function NQ. So NQ, what it will do? It will insert at the rear end. And now rear, which was pointing at D, will now be pointing at the new element inserted Q. Fine. So rear is incremented. Rear is incremented to point to the next. There is no change in front. Front is still pointing to the first element, right? But rear position is changed. Now it is pointing to the new element inserted into the queue. Similarly, now you have the next operation, that is DQ. So what DQ does? DQ deletes an item from the queue. So what are the steps here? So whenever you're deleting, first thing you'll check if the queue is empty, right? Because if queue is empty, you cannot carry out any deletion. If the queue is not empty, then what you do? You access the data from the point where the front is pointing to. Now front is pointing to A, right? So what you do? You delete this A, return it, and increment your front pointer to point to the next item in the queue. Right now front is pointing here. So when I say DQ, A will be deleted, right? And then front will be pointing to the next item in the queue. Is it fine? A is deleted and it is written. Front is incremented to point to the next item in the queue. There is no change in the rear. Rear remains at its position, right? So NQ uses modification of rear pointer and DQ carries out modification of front pointer. Fine. Now, what are the other operations which can be carried out on queue? Same like in case of stack, we had pick. So what pick function does? It will just return the value pointed by front without deleting it from the queue. It will still remain in the queue. You just get a copy of this item is returned. Size will give you the number of items in your list, in your queue, right? So there are 5 items, so it will give you 5. And is empty will check if your front and rear both are pointing to null. That means your queue is empty. Now, queue can be implemented by means of arrays, structures, pointers, and linked list. Of course, linked list will be using a pointer. So queue can either be a fixed size or it may be a dynamic size. That means you can go for static implementation using fixed size, which uses array. In case of Python, of course, you need to create an abstraction to make it behave like a queue. And you can also have dynamic implementation, which again uses linked list, right? So size is not fixed here, size is fixed here. This uses array and this uses linked list. That is static implementation and this is dynamic implementation. Now, what are the different types of queues, right? You have double-ended queue, you have priority queue, and you have circular queue. If you look at double-ended queue, in case of simple queue, what is the concept? Insertion can be carried out only at the rear and deletion can be carried out only at front. But in case of DQ, you can carry out both insertion and deletion at both the ends, right? You can NQ as well as DQ at front. You can NQ as well as DQ at rear. Fine. That means I can insert as well as delete from front. I can insert as well as delete from rear. It is also known as DQ. Another type what you have is a circular queue. You can just see front, right, pointing to A. As the elements are added, the last item what is added, inserted into the queue is pointing to the first item, right? It is pointing to the first item. So rear is pointing here, front is pointing here. Is it clear? That is circular queue. The next type what you have is a priority queue. As the name suggests, each and every item will have priority associated with it. So each element is assigned a priority value such that the order in which elements are deleted and processed comes from the following rules. Now, what are those rules? An element of higher priority is processed before any element of lower priority. So as you are adding elements into the priority queue, each element is given a priority. The highest priority element will be shifted to the front so that it will be deleted first. So 2 elements, if they are the same priority, then they are processed according to order in which they are added to the queue. Like suppose I have 2 items with the same priority. Let's say I'm adding A also has 2 priority. I'm adding C which also has 2 priority, right? So when I'm deleting it, then A will be deleted first. Why? Because it is inserted first, having the same priority. The sequential representation is never preferred for priority queue, and it's better to use linked queue, that is linked list implementation for priority queue. Why? Because it always needs reordering of the queue. Your queue is already having some data. Let us say the data is 2, 3, 4, and a new item which comes that is 7 and it has the highest priority. Then all the items will be shifted back and then this item will be added in front. So that is easy if you're going for linked list implementation. Otherwise, in case of array implementation, you have to shift each and every item of the queue, right? So linked list implementation, that is dynamic implementation, is preferred to implement priority queue. Now, what are the applications of queue? Of course, we'll be looking at evaluation of prefix expression. And as your system, that your computer can handle several jobs at a time, like your multi-user, multitasking operating systems and all. In that time, to schedule the jobs, to schedule the task, the concept of queue is used. Now, to implement printer spooler so that jobs can be printed in order of their arrival. Of course, whenever you give the print command, the one which is given for printing first will be printed first. You cannot change the order. Next, what you have is a round robin scheduling technique, which is used by CPU, right? Which again uses queue. Now, all types of customer services, whether you are standing at a railway reservation or you're at a bank, or you are for the admission process, right? Or you are at a billing counter of a shopping mall, right? All these services are designed using the concept of queues. The one person who is coming first will be served first. Fine. I hope the concept of queue is clear. Stay home, stay safe.